that? Like, did you go home and give each other notes? What was
Yeah.
the deal?
Keren?
Everything you think probably happened. Yeah.
So, I mean, Karen's a very typical eldest child in that she is always right, and so she is always right. So it's her job to make sure that her younger siblings, are up to the charge, and she did a very, very good job of making sure of that.
I mostly just really see. I don't know how much, Benny, you actually remember about Ricky's room and the rehearsals. I don't know, but I really, 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 really tried to look out for Benny, which is a compliment also to Ilana. But
Yeah.
Benny was 6, and then 7, because on my 13th birthday we started season 1. I remember, because I love my birthday and I made a big deal out of it. And I brought treats and whatever. And like, that's how I met Jake Epstein, being like, this is my birthday. Hooray. Because it was the Shilling show with Jake was
Yeah, right. He was the first. Yeah. Okay.
So Benny must have been 7. But I remember that like, I just saw the choreography and all that. And I just really, really wanted to protect Benny. And I still want to protect Benny, but I've learned that I have to let Benny free, like I'm letting Ilana free. But that's like a different conversation. But no, I did go into protect mode. We did all give each other notes. We did all sing songs. Everything that you thought that we did. But to us, like, I mean, I'll speak for myself, because we all have different like memories of it. It was very much like camp. Like, my mom packed us lunches. We went with the knapsack. My mom dropped us off at York and picked us up at York. And we, instead of her paying for camp, we got paid. And that was really it. Like, that was that. And like, I thought, like, again, we're all going to give to experiences, but it was very, very cool. Like, they gave us I'm sure they did it to you too. They gave us a lot of freedom. Like, we learned how to operate a camera. We learned how to edit. We learned all these different things about production. That was really exciting. But it was very, very much like camp. And I will always, always, always look fondly that I was able to work with my siblings. It was like so wonderful, really.
It really was.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I looked at them as siblings, not fellow actors. And that's just,
But that's part of what made it like, if we were fellow actors, we couldn't have pushed each other the way we did and made ourselves better, because we're kids. Like, kids don't do that the way adults really push other actors to make them better and things like that. Kids don't do that. But as siblings, you want to, especially having like an older sibling and wanting to be as amazing as your older sibling. I don't know if you felt like this, Betty. I felt like this. I wanted to be as amazing as Keren. That was like
keep going. Just keep going.
No, it's true. I just wanted to be like you, because everything you did was fantastic. And I wanted to dance like you, and I wanted to be able to, I wanted to dance like you. And so that was, having that sort of pressure, not that it was pressure, but that like motivation, that's the word. Motivation's the word. That sort of motivation is something that you don't get as a kid when you work with other kids the way you do when you work with siblings, I would say.
It always felt very much like working with family when working at Ricky's room, because I was working with both my sisters. Like, everybody sort of just felt like an extension of like a family, really. It was, yeah. So it always felt like all the good times superseded this small percentage of bad times that went on.
Right.
Guys, I forget that this is live sometimes, and then Daniel Cart made a comment saying Ricky's room was all the rage, no reason to hide it. So thank you, Daniel.
I was just gonna give them compliments, because Ilana was very kind, but the world should know that life after Ricky's room, I went on to do very little, and Ilana and Benny were very, very successful. So because what the continuation of the story is that after Ricky's Room, we were asked to be represented by our then agent, and I guess I wasn't so talented, and B, I was like in this awkward teen tween stage, and my siblings were like cute and in their prime, so it was really a thing because it was our Hanukkah present, I think, that we got an agent, if I remember correctly, and the first 5 auditions that Ilana did, she got. I freaked out. I saw it in her. I remember it vividly. I walked in her room. I saw it I saw the script on the white dresser, and I called my friend Paula Garshwitz, who I actually just talked to today. Hi, Paula. I called Paula Garshwitz, who was, and she was my SNL buddy. Like at school, we would talk about SNL, and I said, "Oh my God, Ilana's working with Tina Fey," and then that was like the coolest thing. That's actually probably a cooler fact in the shirt for me. Like that was really.
Of course, never met Tina Fey the same way that I never met Lindsay Lohan. I met Lorne Michaels, but I never met anybody else.
Was your part? I never saw Mean Girls the musical. Did they include that spelling bee throwback? I don't know. I'm curious.
No, either.
I just want to know if your spelling bee character can make it into the musical, and then they're turning the musical into a movie, and then you just live on forever.
That is such an interesting thought, and I have never thought about that, and now I'm curious as well.
Is that the word you spelled? What was the word?
Xylocarp, which is a fruit with a hard shell like a coconut.
Amazing. Xylocarp. How do you spell it?
I believe it is XYLOCARP.
Xylocarp.
I just remember watching it. I thought it was such a good choice. Like, oh my God, she's so into this word. I couldn't remember what the word was. It was the most intense spelling I had ever seen. Like, oh God, I'm terrified, but I also love the choice that was made. Brava.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, essentially, I double for the character number 5, who's played by a fabulous actor, Aidan Gallagher. And for the first 2 seasons, Aidan was much younger, and therefore there are a lot of very specific guidelines that have to be followed when dealing with child actors. So, if we worked a 14-hour day, they would only have about 7 hours with him to work with. So if there's a big ensemble scene, basically what they would do is they would put me in the costume, and they would put me on set, and they'd put me in front of the camera in a way that would only show my shoulder or the back of my head or something like that. And then I would run the lines, run the blocking, and sort of run the dialogue as he would, essentially mimicking what he does, as point of reference for the other actors, and also as a means to sometimes fill out large sort of master establishing shots or drone shots or things that I always call myself Blurry Benny, I'm out of focus or in the background, or it's over my shoulder, my ear, or something like that, and or a reflection that's all sort of blurry or something. But that's my job is to be unnoticeable and consistent.
But when you watch it, do you know if it's you or the other? Can you tell?
Yes and no. I mean, there are many times where I'm like, I think that's me. Again, when I'm working a 14-hour day or a 15-hour day, and we're working from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., I don't remember anything because it's a night shoot and my mind is just running on caffeine and good dreams. But
man, adult acting is not child acting. Not at all. So I ended at 13, which is right when you start getting self-conscious, really, and when acting stops being pretending and starts being real acting, owning your craft and things like that. and it was different. The reason that, so Keren said at the beginning that I got all 5 jobs that I auditioned for right at the beginning. The reason that I did that happened was because I had a bunch of things going for me, which was I was short, and did not look my age. So I could play a 5-year-old with the maturity of a 7-year-old, which is what people want. I could read really well. I could take direction really well, and could read with expression. And that's all you need.
And your beautiful red hair.
I mean, that helps, but really it was...
the freckles and the whole look.
I know, right? So cute.
Yeah.
So cute. She's like, cutest little hands. Watch her build the tallest tower.
Yes, use my hands. But when you're older, it's a completely different game, and it wasn't what, and it wasn't just because it wasn't easy. It was like a whole different thing that I was like, I'm not even prepared to go into this world, and I would need so much more training and investment and know-how, and also technology was different. So now the technology's changed, where Instagram and social media and all of those things are worlds that you like, things that you didn't need back then in the early 2000s. So no, I did miss it. I did try, not very hard. And when I realized that this world was like so new and so nothing that I remembered, and I guess I didn't have that like nostalgic feeling of like going back. It just felt like not, this isn't for me, I'll do something else. And that's actually why, Benny, I'm so impressed with you, because I know... Yeah,
now we can live through Benny. It's great.
I know that it's like a very different world to go back into it after you've been away from it for a few years, and child acting is just really different from adult acting, and I'm like really in awe by you. I think you're amazing.
I think the biggest thing is like, when you're a child and you screw up, someone's like, hey, that's okay, bud. Yeah, we're just going to do it again. No problem. When you're an adult and you screw up, you want children to be around so that no one's going to yell at you like they want to yell at you.
Having each other was like a really, really special thing. I know that, Ben, I don't know if you remember this, like that, how many times like we used to run lines together, not for shows that we were in, but for auditions and stuff like that, and coaching each other and things like that, because the only other coach were our parents, who were subpar. So, which again, they tried their best, but we really understood it better, and we would run lines with each other and things like that. And then having our sister as the ultimate role model, because she really started it all for us, and she was the one who taught us how to act, and definitely taught us how to dance. And so and protected us and always rooted for us, and that was really the beauty of growing up acting together, was that we, even when we didn't, like, besides Ricky's Room, even when we weren't acting together, we were acting together, which was
I think that